Recon Athlete podcast is brought to you by Kreitz Market, The Social, and Focus Fit San Marcos.
It's picking that up.
I know. Recon Athlete, episode number 62. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez. We're waiting for Zach to answer. Zach, you there?
Recon podcast.
And you just woke up, didn't you?
What's up, Zach?
A little bit ago.
Did you eat breakfast?
No, I didn't have time to eat no breakfast.
Why, dog?
Because he just woke up.
It's early. It's Saturday morning. You're in quarantine.
You're at home.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't eat breakfast on the weekends?
Do you know how to cook
like
breakfast?
at noon.
Oh, okay. That's fair enough. That's what I usually do. If I was hungry when I woke up, I made some bacon and eggs. Bacon and egg tacos. What are you gonna have?
Me? Some cereal, some Fruit Loops with marshmallows.
Okay. All right. He is a freaking kid. All right, Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Lucetto on the line here. Snoop Daniel over in the green room. We're at Paddock Studios, and there are three main rules here in Paddock Studios.
Man,
and
no,
Paul's
they're
already
not.
broken all three of them.
I don't care.
Well, he hasn't broken one of them. There's number one, no coughing. Number two, no sneezing, and number three, wash your damn hands.
I'm not living under this tyranny.
So, if you're not gonna have to call in just like Zach. If you're not gonna listen to our rules here in Paddock Studios.
I'm not listening to the rules, but I'll be here.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll put you outside.
You gonna put me outside in the rain and the cold?
Yes, we will.
That doesn't make any sense.
We will. I will. I got enough line here. All right, we're gonna talk some NFL free agency. Plenty of moves still being made everywhere, and of course, Zach actually came up or was talking about if the NBA and if and when because we're going to stay optimistic here on Recon Athlete, if and when NBA comes back, Zach was talking about maybe a March Madness style tournament for the NBA. So we'll talk about a little bit about that a little bit later. But we're going to go in talk NFL free agency to start off. Todd Gurley is going to be the one we're going to talk first. He's going to the Atlanta Falcons. Some people thought that he might try to hold out a little bit, get a little bit of a bigger contract for himself, but he went ahead and went in somewhere that was comfortable for him. It's his hometown. He's got there's a lot of weapons around him. You got Matt Ryan. You got what's going on?
We're gonna reestablish connection with Zach. Just give me 1 second.
Okay. You got Julio Jones. You got Calvin Ridley. You got Austin. You got Austin Hooper. Everybody that you need around is somebody that's of the Todd Gurley caliber.
Right.
All right. So Todd Gurley going to the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, he's going to be another injury-prone running back, just like the next one we're going to talk about here in a minute. But hold on, Zach.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. Why? What happened?
How do we sound?
I mean, y'all haven't really said anything yet, so I'll let you know.
Okay, well, we're just talking about Todd Gurley to the Atlanta Falcons. Zach, why don't you give us your opinion about that?
I think it's cool. I think the fandom part of it, I think it's really cool, especially with him being such a star at Georgia. So I think it allows those people to have more reasonable access to see him play. I think it's an area that he's very familiar with, so I think he'll be comfortable there. He'll have access to all the things to stay healthy there instead of being across the country from his family and things like that. And I think it could be a piece that Atlanta needs. I mean, Julio and Matt Ryan are both getting a little older, and I think the Falcons are still trying to hold on to them being a contender. I think that window is closing really, really fast. So I think a move like that be made. So I mean, if not him, I don't know what else you could have done to try to shore up your chances of being and take advantage of your chances of being a contender still under Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. So I think it's a good move. It should make some exciting football.
Paul?
Well, we already know the NFC South is a completely difficult division now with Tom Brady going, down south, and as well, we also know that Drew Brees re-signed with the Saints, and so I think a lot more pieces were going to be needed for the other teams in the division, someone like Tampa Bay, and so for them to add this big, humongous piece, I think just by name only, there's a lot of notoriety behind the name, especially with him going home, playing at Georgia in college. This will be, I think, somewhat of maybe a resurgence for Gurley. He really didn't perform that well due to injuries the past few years, but someone with Super Bowl experience as well, going to Atlanta, coupled with Julio and Matt Ryan's Super Bowl experience, is going to be really needed for them to compete, especially knowing a very formidable foe in Tom Brady with Tampa Bay right now.
Yeah, so, Todd Gurley, a couple years ago, best running back in the NFL, but hands down. That's a lot of people thought.
Great fantasy.
He was great fantasy player. Hopefully we get its NFL season underway, but we haven't really talked about it, the fantasy angle, here. But Todd Gurley, of course, last year, some people bet on him. Some people didn't. I didn't myself. Would you bet on him this year to make any kind of splash in Atlanta, Paul?
Maybe as a third down back, someone you could probably capture maybe in the later rounds. But I think because him going home, so to speak, to Atlanta, is people are going to probably be hyped up on him just for people that are not maybe as studious, maybe not as educated in fantasy. So they're going to see a name and they're going to see him going back to home and they're going to see that, he's going to make a splash. But I think if you do your due diligence and do the proper research, you're going to see that he's probably at best a third down back, goal line back. I think would be the best thing for him.
They cut Devontae Freeman.
Yeah.
So, where do you don't think he's going to take more of a role on there?
His injury history, I think, has caused him to fall off a little bit. And if you're going to ask him to be the bell cow, I don't think he can get it done. He's not a 20 to 30, carry back. That's going to be better than Deontay Freeman, in my opinion.
Zach? Anything else on Gurley? You there, bro?
Well, yeah. I disagree with Paul. Devontae Freeman is running back, and the health thing is gonna be the issue. But Devontae Freeman was the same thing, and he was still able to put up points. So maybe not your number one back, but definitely not like a 3. I think you could try to sleep on him. Probably going to be taken not only because of the name that Paul said, but I think he's going to have success. Devontae Freeman's kind of takeoff year. That kind of goes to show you that they're always going to keep a running back involved over there in Atlanta.
All right, so I don't know. I'm kind of in the Zach corner here, just because without Freeman, Gurley's still. I think he's still got some gas in the tank. Of course, he's got injury prone. He's injury prone, but I think there's still something there, and I think he's got something to prove. And going back, to his hometown, I think he'll be a little bit more comfortable. So, if and when we do our fantasy football drafts, I wouldn't spend a high pick on him, but if he's there, around 8, 9, or 10, I might, try to do that there. All right, shout out to our watch party, Stephanie Marie.
Recon Fantasy League.
Yeah, we can do that. Shout out to Jessica Summers, Snoop Daniel over there in there. Laura Bond Hans. Hey, man, are you coughing? What is going on? Let's see.
Especially at no.
What? I can't hear you. Hey, let's call it. Let me call you back. Call him back, dude. We're gonna shout out to me, Sarita Zanjohnson, Brad Streetman, Virginia Ellison, Natasha West. Zach is on the line, of course, and Jessica's commenting. We've been called out on this a couple times now. We were called out by Reed last episode, and I didn't mention it. Paul, now Jessica Summers is calling us out. She's saying that we're not practicing social distancing right now.
Okay.
Which I'm going to have to agree.
Okay.
So we'll do a since Zach's not coming in, we'll rearrange so we can social distance, because this table that we're sitting at is exactly 6 feet long. So we'll go ahead and try to social distance next time, everybody. We promise.
What is social distancing again?
We got to stay 6 feet away from other people.
For what?
Because that's how far our spittle can go.
But what does spittle have to do with the airborne virus?
That's where coronavirus comes from, man.
Well, this is an airborne virus.
They said it's not. They said it's not airborne. They said it's the spittle. Man, I don't know. It changes every single day.
I know. That's why it's hard for me to believe anything.
Shout out Rob Hip. What up, Rob? Shout out to what's it? Georgetown Radio Network.
Yeah.
Rob's doing some big things up in Georgetown. You in Georgetown area, even if you're not.
Tune in
to Rob Hip and his boys, man. They're doing some great things. They're doing some great things for the community as well. I saw it on Facebook. So shout out to Rob Hip. Rob, put it on the on our thing here, just so I can know where to tell everybody.
In the comments.
Yeah, put it in the comments so I can know where to tell everybody to tune in to the Georgetown area. Shout out to Heather Bazan as well, Virginia's sister. Hope everything down in Corpus area is going well. Also shout out to Heather because she is a nurse, a neonatal nurse, I believe. But she is, right on the front lines of this thing, so I hope she's taking care of herself and, making sure that, everything is good with her health wise, because we definitely need healthcare workers like her to stay healthy.
For sure. I was going to say, maybe we can get her to call in and get some education or something.
Yeah, no. Did you get Zach back on?
I'm working on it. Go ahead and pump up the volume. Let's see if we can get him.
All right. So we were talking about Todd Gurley. We're going to move on to Melvin Gordon here in a second, going to the Denver Broncos. We're going to see if we can get Zach back on the line, see if we can get a better connection. Hello.
Is it me you're looking for?
You have reached the voicemail box of 5127791.
Maybe he's good. Maybe he's getting them Fruit Loops with the marshmallows.
He did comment. He was just saying the Recon Fantasy League draft at Revelry spot. Yeah, we can do that. We can definitely do that.
Is that Zach who just commented?
Yeah.
Tell him to answer his phone.
Man, I know he's watching. We're telling him to answer his phone.
Call him again.
Call him one more time. Then we'll move on to Melvin Gordon.
Hola.
You got it? Zach, answer.
Pick up the phone.
Dang, y'all just let it say my real phone number on the podcast.
Did we?
Did we?
No, he didn't.
Yes, my voicemail says my phone number.
Oh, we cut it off, bro.
I think we cut it off.
Yeah, we cut it off.
Well, you don't want nobody sliding in your messages or what?
Hey, yeah.
I need to screen them.
They can slide into your you can slide in his DMs, just not his text messages, not his TMs.
Yeah, there you go.
Jeez Louise.
Sorry, bro. All right, let's move on to Melvin Gordon going to the Denver Broncos. Melvin Gordon, another running back that has definitely had his injury issues. Basically, the Chargers have said we like Austin Eckler better. We're gonna move on from Melvin Gordon. We're not gonna worry about him anymore. But he's gonna go over to the Denver Broncos, who already have two other running backs in Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman. Looks like, for everything that I've heard and read, basically Royce Freeman's going to be the guy that's going to be left out in the cold. It's going to be Lindsay and Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon, I mean, when he's healthy, he's a top running back. He's a top tier running back, but he's just not healthy. He's only had really one healthy season, and one season that was, in the great to elite level. So, I mean, I think this is a good move for the Denver Broncos, kind of a curious move as well, because, I mean, they already had a full stable back there, I thought. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an NFL GM. I guess, these guys are smarter than me, right?
We hope so.
Paul?
I don't know. I really don't know what John Elway's really doing as the GM for the Broncos. I mean, I like Melvin Gordon. I think it's another name. It's somebody to put out there, but I think Lindsey is really taking off, and I think he's really holding on to that number one spot. Now, you got a really talented running back coming out of college against the undrafted free agent with Lindsey, and it's apparently the guy who's hungry is producing the better right now. Mm-hmm. Maybe that competition is what they're really trying to do. Maybe they could push Lindsey to maybe an elite level. I mean, he's a really great back.
He is.
But at the same time, it's like, I think this is more of like a insurance policy that's probably going to give you a lot bigger return than a moderate return with Melvin Gordon. I mean, the guy can really catch out of the backfield, picking up blitzes. I think he's still working on, but I think it's a really good acquisition for Denver. I just hope that it pans out to compete in that really vaunted AFC West with Patty Mahomes out there. That's who they're really chasing because they're the guys on top right now.
Zach Lucero, Melvin Gordon to Denver. What do you think?
I think this is really similar to the Todd Gurley one in the fact that you're just trying to take advantage of the time you have left with a player like Von Miller. So I think that's what they're going to do. I mean, they've been to the Super Bowl before. I think they like Drew Lock a lot. So I think Melvin Gordon would be a good piece to take some pressure off of him. But I do think we're going to kind of see Melvin Gordon's notoriety come down after this year because there's no way he can be the bell cow that he wants to be and hopes to be with Philip Lindsay there. So because you're going to have to feed both of those guys. And if not, at this offseason or halfway through the season, you're going to be hearing people talk about trades again.
So who do y'all think is going to be season starts? Who's taking the first snap? Is it Philip Lindsay or Melvin Gordon, Paul?
If everything goes according to plan, I think Lindsay does. I think he's earned that right. I think he's puts in a lot of work, and the way things are shaping up, I don't see Melvin Gordon outworking Lindsay enough to take the number one spot. I just don't see that.
Zach?
I think I agree.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess for me, I would have to agree with y'all. I mean, you go with the guy that's been there, that's proven himself. But I also think, once you get into that, Lord willing, we get into training camp and we're able to, actually, have some training camp. But if I'm the Denver Broncos, I kind of keep it open, that competition, because I want the best out of both of my running backs, especially. I mean, you can get a lot out of Melvin Gordon if he stays healthy, if he doesn't fumble, if he's catching the ball out of the backfield like he's used to. I mean, I think Melvin Gordon has great potential, just like Todd Gurley. But it's all about for both of them. It's all about staying healthy. It's all about staying on the field, and hopefully, as long as he being Melvin Gordon holds on to the football. I think he's got a legitimate chance to be the number one back in Denver. But, he wants to, like Zach said, he wants to be that number one guy. But with a guy like Philip Lindsay sharing the backfield with you, that's going to be a pretty high mountain to climb, for him to take over that number one spot. But I don't think, the way the NFL is now, running back by committee is standard. It's almost standard. Unless you're the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, with Zeke Elliott and Saquon Barkley, maybe there's a couple other examples, but other than that, everybody's going RBBC, as they say. So Melvin Gordon to the Denver Broncos. That's going to be here coming up this season. Hopefully, fingers crossed. If everybody stays indoors, don't be going out, don't be coughing. I want to shout out to Snoop Daniel. He said this morning that it's been a week since he's gone out. Of course, he can't go out anywhere. But even before we were put on lockdown, Snoop was staying in, and so I gotta shout him out. He's been playing video games. I've been watching him. He's been watching me play video games. We've been playing cornhole, the bags game. Not anything else.
You said
Jenga. I've been playing some Jenga. So everybody stay healthy, man. We want an NFL season to start. So everybody, just. Stay away from other people and wash your damn hands.
What if this turned into like a collapse of the sports world to like every sport going on simultaneously? Like if we move the basketball season to May and then we have the NBA season running smack dab in the middle of NFL and baseball doing the same thing. What if we had that type of like coverage? It would be like nuts, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would be tremendous if that really could happen.
It's like that in October, isn't it?
Yeah, but to
playoffs.
Me, yeah, but I think people are still fighting to get. I think what now we'll have is people fighting to get in to the playoffs in that time area, that time frame between like August, September, October. There's like I think more NBA situations will be going on rather than all the championship happening in like June and July.
Well, here in a few minutes, we're going to talk about if the NBA is able to come back. Zach's got his own resolution for the end of the NBA season. All right, Recon Athlete, episode number 62. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Lucero on the line. Shout out to Snoop Daniel over in the green room. All right, continue with NFL free agency. Eric Ebron going to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 years, $12 million. Pittsburgh Steelers already have Vance McDonald, and then was it Nick Vanette? Now, they're basically throwing in Eric Ebron in the mix, and I think they're getting rid of the latter. So this move kind of puzzling to me a little bit. I guess
Really?
it's similar. I mean, I think it's similar to Denver. I mean, you already have a decent tight end. I mean, just like Denver already had a pretty good running back in Philip Lindsay. You had Melvin Gordon. I mean, Vance McDonald I thought was a good tight end. And then you go out and you add Eric Ebron. To me, I was like, for what? So I mean, I don't know. You tell me why you think it's a good move for the Steelers, Paul.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that the talent level for Eric Ebron. This is a guy who, coming out of college, who's thought maybe to be like O.J. Howard or even Ingram in New York, who's about to be a really big, addition. And I think that really flattened out with the injury for Andrew Luck. He really didn't get to that kind of touches last year with Jacoby Brissett. He really wasn't utilized, in my opinion, as well. For him going to the Steelers, adding in with Big Ben, and Big Ben was quoted saying that for the first time in 2 years, he's thrown without any pain. I think for you to add this type of talent to the Steelers, I'm not saying he's going to be the be-all, end-all, but what I'm saying is for him to have a high-level security blanket, I think is going to be extremely beneficial for Big Ben. So hopefully the Steelers can get back online with Juju Smith-Schuster and Connor out of the backfield with Big Ben being fully healthy. I think this is something that the Steelers probably made a move on, and a lot of people maybe are not looking at the long-term impact, but this is a guy who's going to help them out, especially late run into the playoffs, because they're going to need every single piece to compete with the Ravens in the AFC North, that is.
All right, Eric Ebron to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Zach Luceto.
I think this is non-news, really. I mean, Eric Ebron's been the same guy as any of the random tight ends they've had in Pittsburgh. I mean, he had a couple good weeks in Indianapolis, but I mean, that's kind of all we've seen from him. Whenever he was in Detroit, there's a dude from Incarnate Word that almost beat him out. So I mean, I think he's kind of falling off the map a little bit, and he's just kind of like a mid-tier tight end.
Okay. I think from what I've seen and what I've read and heard from the pundits is like they're expecting Eric Ebron to be kind of moved around in different formations and create mismatches, stuff like that. So we'll see. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger coming off his injury, he's probably going to need guys that are, I guess, probably not going downfield as much. Maybe he needs more. Maybe he needs a little bit more, mid-range targets. Especially at the beginning of the season. He might not be able to get the ball down all the way down the field at first. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is their plan for the Pittsburgh Steelers to give him more mid-range targets, guys that can get open, create mismatches, with safeties and linebackers. All right, Emmanuel Sanders joining Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Paul Rodriguez, what do you think about this?
I think this is just more skill set. I do know that. Emmanuel Sanders is a little bit more longer in the tooth than the other guys that are there currently, but this is just, I think, insurance policy for their receiving core. I don't think that Emmanuel Sanders is going to be as prolific as Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, but I think he's definitely going to be very complimentary to the addition of those two receivers as he arrives for Tom Brady in Tampa Bay.
But he's not going to Tampa Bay.
Where's he going?
To the Saints.
Oh, he was going to the Saints?
Yeah, why'd you say Tampa Bay?
I thought I read the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Man, Zach, will you make sure that Paul knows what he's talking about?
But where did he go?
He's going to the Saints.
Well, I mean, either way, Emmanuel Sanders Emmanuel Sanders is equivalent to like J.R. Smith, like Rajon Rondo. He's just ring chasing now. He's at the end of his career, wherever he has a chance to go, if that's the 49ers, if that's the Saints, if that's the Buccaneers, wherever. He might go to he wouldn't surprise me if he saw him at the Cowboys or something. Like, he's just trying to see places that he can win a ring. That's all he wants to do.
I mean, I understand that, but I mean, you're going to join the Saints who already have like, I don't know, like up-team wide receivers. I mean, yeah. I mean, but I guess that's what you're saying. he talked with the Cowboys and the Packers, but he wound up with the Saints. So I guess if he is ring chasing, he's thinking that the Saints have a better chance of winning the Super Bowl than the Cowboys or the Packers. Zach?
I mean, you just want to play with one of those top tier guys. The Packers have notoriously never really brought in names at wide receiver like that. They've kind of tried to build up from within and from the draft. So I think the Saints makes a lot of sense for him. Let him do his thing in the slot. Let him kind of have like minimal to medium amount of catches, and that's really all that he needs.
Yeah. So Ted Ginn is a free agent, so that basically leaves Lance Moore and Willie Snead IV, who is Emmanuel Sanders' competition. So out of those three, Emmanuel Sanders, Lance Moore, Willie Snead, and I don't know if I'm Drew Brees, who you think you're throwing to, Zach?
I know they liked Willie Snead a lot. I know he had a pretty good year last year, so it wouldn't surprise me if they were 1 and 2. Probably when you bring in a guy like Emmanuel Sanders, you expect him to kind of win that job. So it wouldn't surprise me if he wins the job, and then we still see a fair amount of Snead.
Oh yeah. So Emmanuel Sanders averaged almost 14 yards per catch with San Francisco in 2019. All right, let's get to the Dallas Cowboys. They lost, of course, Byron Jones, but they're getting Clinton Dix. I wasn't sure. This is like the fourth team for Clinton Dix in the last 2 years. It's almost like he can't find a home. He's trying to find a home with the Dallas Cowboys. He was, a very vaunted coming out of Alabama. He's spent 2 years going from team to team. Now he's with the Dallas Cowboys. Paul Rodriguez, what do you think about this signing?
I think they're just trying to get a little bit better. They didn't get much better at safety, but I think Clinton Dix will be, a better player than I think Jeff Heath. So I think that's about all Dallas is really trying to do right now is just get a little better.
Yeah, I would have to say, better than Jeff Heath. Zach Lucero, what do you think?
Clinton Dix was a Packer for a long time. I loved him when he was there. He's a lot better and coming up and stopping the run than like some of the new wave top tier safeties are, like the Jamal Adams, the Landon Collins, who are a little bit more versatile. And I think that's kind of what sent them out of Green Bay is the Packers are just trying to go a lot younger, a lot faster, a lot more ball skilled in the secondary. So that's what got him out of Green Bay. I think he was at the Bears or the Redskins, Paul.
Clinton Dix?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and they still stay in the Packers conference. They play the Packers a lot. So I would have preferred to have shipped them to the AFC, but I think he makes sense for the Cowboys, and I'm just glad that they're getting him when he's older instead of when the Packers got him.
Why is that? Just because he's not going to be as good?
Yeah,
exactly. Okay. That makes sense. I don't know. My biggest thing is right now Dallas is trying to stockpile a little bit of help in the secondary. I think Anthony Brown re-signed with Dallas, and I think they also signed another DB a couple of days ago or within the last 24 hours. But my biggest thing is I don't really know why they're doing this, because in their position in the draft, they could easily get, a really big, really good safety at LSU, somebody that I thought they should target in Grant Delpit. But maybe they're stockpiling moves because they want to bring in somebody like Grant Delpit or another big-time DB to maybe learn from these veterans, or are they making moves to sandbag secondary help so that they could go get maybe a quarterback in the NFL draft? I don't know. We'll see how things play out, but those are kind of my thought process. Why sandbag secondary when you can really go get a really big time player much cheaper in the draft? Or is this going to be something to go after maybe somebody like they need in the quarterback?
All right, Recon Athlete, episode 62, Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez here in Paddock Studios. Shout out to Snoop Daniel over in the green room and Zach Lucero on the line. All right, and then, Paul, you mentioned something in the messenger yesterday about the Dallas Cowboys. Since we're talking about the Cowboys signing Clinton Dix, did you want to, hit up on that a little bit?
Yeah, that's kind of where I was talking about before previously, is that my biggest concern for Dallas is their quarterback position. You know, they franchised Dak, but he hasn't signed his tender. So he has until July 15th to get that either a long-term deal done or the franchise tag signed. And for my money, if I'm Dak, I'm saying don't do it. For what? I mean, you're really not guaranteed anything but a 1-year deal if you sign the tender. Now, I'm pretty sure he wants a long-term deal, but for me and my money, I don't think Jerry Jones and family think he's going to be a long-term asset. And so what I would do is let the guy walk if he wants to walk. And if he doesn't, then he'll sign his tender and you can move forward. But if he does walk, you're going to need to make sure you have somebody better locked up than Cooper Rush as your quarterback. And I really think that they could probably make some moves and trade up maybe to get him within the top 5 or top 10 and pull the trigger on one of these top quarterbacks. Or, I mean, what about Jordan Love? I'm pretty sure that's somebody y'all were high on that maybe he could fall to them and they could pick at, I think, 17. But it's just, you know, what do they want to do from between now and July 15th will be, you know, how the season will go for Dallas.
All right. Zach, do you care about anything that we're talking about with the Dallas Cowboys?
I mean, a little bit more than usual because I like Harrison Dix, but ultimately, no.
All right. Free agency moves. There's still a bunch going on. There's a lot of moves that happen that really, I don't know. Not really worth talking about. You know, my concern right now is, you know, that we're going to have an NFL season, you know? So, you know, once again from Recon Athlete, everybody make sure you social distance. I know me and Paul aren't social distancing right now. You know, Paul was coughing earlier. He thinks it's funny. I don't.
I do think it's funny.
Why?
Because I think it's funny.
It ain't funny, bro.
Yes, it is.
People dying out here, man.
Yes, I know. It's very sad that people die, but people die every day.
Coronavirus, man. Snoop. There you go. Coronavirus. All right. Zach, you put something on the messenger. Spencer Dinwiddie was kind of tweeting. He's actually a basketball player, NBA player for the Nets, for those of us that don't know. He was talking about an NBA tournament style if we're able to get, you know, some sports back here in the next couple of months. Now, Zach, you were talking about a tournament for the NBA. Talk about this for our listeners and for me, really, because I really want to know what your idea is.
Chris, did you know that Spencer Dinwiddie was an NBA player, or did you look it up?
No, Snoop told me.
Okay. But no, Spencer Dinwiddie,
at least he's honest.
For guys that are really active on social media, like Paul, he's actually a really good follow, especially during all this. I know a lot of NBA players are Twitch, doing Twitch streams and stuff, and I think Spencer Dinwiddie's way of coping with this shutdown is to just tweet a lot. So he's a really good follow. But he was talking about how to kind of come back and save the NBA once they get the season back on. So we already play a 16-team playoff, basically. We're losing roughly 18 games. Current viewers have said that they wait to see it to get exciting during playoff time, and the reception of March Madness is always so good. So you can do a 5-game tune-up and just jump straight into March Madness, best of 7, winner-take-all, every team tournament. Not bound by conference, but all 1 through 30, just getting to it bracket style. Every game could be nationally televised. Fans would go crazy. Could even do neutral site for the play-in series, since 30 isn't the even breakdown, in the football arena to try to, like the national championship, try to recoup some revenue. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of revisited it later after I guess he really kind of sat down and looked at it. Said, I think we're looking at a 2018 tournament. Top 4 seeds get a bye. Teams 27, 28, 29, 30 have a neutral site play-in games, March Madness style, and a best of 3. Then the round of 28 is best of 5, and then the round of 16, etc., proceeds as usual. So my estimation is the 5-game tune-up takes 2 weeks. Then the play-in is a week max. The extra round is 7 to 10 days. And that way the season is not going to August or anything crazy of that affects the next season. Fans will go crazy for at least 4 in neutral site games. What do y'all think about that?
Paul?
I think Spencer Dinwiddie's going to mess around and become commissioner one day. I mean, you read it, and I was following along with you, Zach, from the messenger that you had posted in, and logically, man, it makes a whole lot of sense. And I really do Yeah, it's very well thought out. The other half of it is, and I think that he hit the nail on the head, and people would go wild. They go bonkers for neutral sites for those games, and having them in larger venues, I think definitely would recoup a lot more of the income that's being lost right now. We're talking about the NBA making even more money. Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, like there's a lot of different, gears involved in that huge machine, and advertisers would definitely benefit. The fans are definitely going to want to buy merchandise, as well as, all the other accoutrement that goes along with, supporting their favorite team. But at the same time, I think it really gives an opportunity for somebody who's done their due diligence and thought out a proper, effective, and seems very logical plan to get this done in a very unprecedented season, unprecedented times for the whole world. But yeah, man, I might have to go ahead and sponsor Spencer Dinwiddie, because that was a really good, well thought out, thing for him to put out. And Zach, props to you for finding that, because that's really good info.
Yeah, and I think he was starting to answer some questions on Twitter after he posted it. And someone said, how would you nationally televise so many rounds at once and expect them to all get ratings? Like, who's tuning in to Bucks v. Warriors? And he said, drama brings ratings and buy-in. It's not a matter of frequency, but you're now giving all 30 teams something to play for, regardless of conference, bringing cult team fandom back to the NBA or solely relying on player stardom to carry ratings. And I think that's true. I mean, in the early rounds, it's games all day, all nationally televised.
Yeah.
Those really bad matchups are like in the first round. But people still watch those because that's the drama of it. Is Duke being played close by the Chris Sanchez school of the deaf and blind? Mm-hmm. Like, and you want to tune in and see what happens in that game. So I think regardless of how many games are on at once, I think each game is going to get tuned into, and I don't think it's really a matter of who's watching what game more. It's a matter of having them all available and having them all get watched by someone.
Here's an easy solution to that guy's question. Buy another TV. That's all you got to do. We're talking $300 and you can watch 2 games simultaneously, or just go to the bar. They're going to have all the games there. It's not that big of a deal.
Now, let's say for some reason, we're still kind of coming down from this coronavirus thing, and they're able to have enough tests to get the players tested and the staff tested, just not everybody in the stands. Are we okay with having games with no fans in this type of situation, Zach?
I mean, I think we've made this argument before. Is what really brings in the money in these leagues is the television deal. So if you're able to find some way to strike another deal with the networks to air your product, and I think that's what's going to bring in the most money. And if it's the safest way to do it, it's better than nothing.
Paul?
Yeah, I mean, it may be a little bit inconvenient for some, but I mean, as far as wanting to go to the game, that may be a little bit of a downer for them. But listen, if you can watch the game, if you can stream it, or if you can, however they want to do the deal, if you can just put eyes on it, that's going to be the biggest thing, and that's what people really want. It's like he was saying, drama brings ratings, and that's what really people are into. And if you can just get your eyes on it, by all means, get it done.
All right, Recon Athlete, episode number 62. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Lucetto on the line with us. Yeah, what's up, sir?
So, and I think Paul made a good point bringing up the drama again. Is if you're playing again with something to play for, and he gave an example of the Bucks, who are one of the best teams in the NBA this season, and the Warriors, who are one of the worst. Possibly if this thing lasts long enough, you could start getting players back healthy, so that terrible Warriors team turns into a team with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry both healthy potentially. But B, regardless of who's playing on the team for the Warriors, you're going to have an instance potentially like the Vandergriff Westwood game, where you get a team like the Bucks who are really looking past the Warriors, and those guys are going to try their hardest, and especially with no fans there, where it's just mano a mano, them against the person guarding them, or them against the person that they're trying to D up. I think it would make almost more drama having no fans there and getting to listen to the guys talk back and forth and watch the Bucks try to put off a team like the Warriors, and potentially the Warriors come back and shock some people. Another tweet I saw in an interview from the Commissioner Adam Silver is he's floating the possibility of NBA exhibition games played for charity, with screening some of the players that are healthy, and almost airing like pickup games. What do y'all think about that?
I mean, that's a great PR move. I mean, that's something that I think that if they did lead with that, that would probably make people a little bit more understanding for them to go ahead and do something like Dinwiddie had projected. But you really want to make sure that everybody is screened properly, and it would be a huge mess if someone were to get sick due to a charity game. And so that's a real double-edged sword. But I think for a PR move, it's great. But for overall public health, I would be very concerned.
You could do like a 3-on-3 tournament, Zach?
Yeah, or something. Or if there's 6 players healthy in the NBA, let them play and pick teams backyard style and put it on NBA Network or on ESPN2 or something like that, or maybe even regular ESPN if nothing else is on. And it just in the tweet I just put it in the group says he thinks the fans especially need the diversion now, and I think that's true. It really gives fans something to watch, something they're familiar with, some names they're familiar with, and let them be on TV and watch the sport they love.
I think that's so accurate, Zach, and especially right now, I think creative thinking is where the leaders of the sports organizations really need to focus their attention, because sports is our safe haven. It's somewhere we go where we can escape the everyday monotony and stresses that we encounter on a daily basis. And right now, I think something is needed. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm sure someone's going to come up and execute one of these great ideas soon, I hope.
All right, so if we can get something going in the sports world, it'll be fun. It'll be dope. No matter what they come up with. I mean, we just there needs to be some type of distraction, for basically all of the United States and the world right now. So we'll see. Right now, just all we can do as people is to try to, stay away from other folks. And me and Paul we're going to get our social distancing fixed next episode, so we don't have everybody yelling at us on. Are they
really yelling?
People are getting upset.
Really?
People are getting upset. And then, of course, I got a shout out to Mandy and Virginia, who are making fun of me for wearing sunglasses. It's bright in here, y'all. Okay? It's bright in here.
What did they say?
They're just giving me a hard time for wearing sunglasses, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, dude. Sometimes,
I thought he looked good in red. He had another color on.
I got red, white, and blue glasses. So
I was like, go with the red
y'all
ones.
Y'all let me know what color y'all want me to wear. So I got red, white, and blue, United States of America. All right, episode number 62. Zach, you got anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this thing up?
No.
Zach said he looks dumb.
well, we can always lean on Zach for honesty, no doubt about it.
All right, Recon Athlete, episode number 62. Chris Sanchez, Paul Rodriguez, Zach Lucetto on the line. We want to shout out Kreitz Market, our sponsor, of course, the social there in Lockhart, and Focus Fit Sam Marcus. Kreitz Market, I believe they're still doing to-go orders as well, right?
To-go only, yeah. Y'all put in an order. They got full service. It's just to-go only. They're setting up on the porch right now, so it's almost like a pickup style. You just drive up to put your order in, get it to go, and off you go back to the house where we can all stay safe and hopefully ride out this little inconvenience, this hiccup. But we're gonna get through this, Chris. I mean, I've been putting on my social media. Like, we're blessed. We're still moving forward. We're still progressing, and that's what I want everybody to know. Is like, I may joke around with things, and I may test Chris's nerves at times, but I do want everyone to understand that this is a time to be very cautious. This is a time for everyone to be very steadfast, because I believe that one day when we get through all of this, I think we're all going to be a little bit more unified and a little bit better human beings overall in this world that we have, because it's a precious one.
Wow. Well, let's leave it on that. Zach, thanks for joining us. You going to be good on Wednesday? Is your phone going to work?
You know what? I think it was Zach. That wasn't your fault, brother. That was mine. I think I was on voice over IP using the internet, and we're doing a lot of streaming right now. So my fault, y'all. That's my bad.
All right, Zach. What you got planned for the weekend?
A lot of quarantining and self-distancing. But I'm still trying to make a point of staying active, getting outside when I can. Because I feel like what's keeping people healthy is just their all around wellness that they already had in place. So I don't want to because of the quarantine not go outside and not exercise and all of a sudden be susceptible to getting sick. So I'm trying to be outside and stay as active as I can.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Zach, because I'm doing the same thing. I try to go for a walk once in the morning and then once in the evening. So basically, myself, I'll get up, I'll eat breakfast, I'll go for a walk, come back, I tell you what, my room is the cleanest it's ever been. I swear. Like my room, bathroom, even this apartment, all I've been doing is just basically cleaning. But after I do my chores that I've set out for the day, in the evening, I'll, eat a little bit of dinner about 5 or 6 o'clock, and then I'll go for another walk. So Zach, I'm glad you brought that up. So, everybody out there, make sure you still get outside. Of course, you don't want to be, too close to everybody else, but, there's the neighborhood that I'm in, there's a lot of people outside walking, making sure that everybody's still staying active. Make sure you get outside and get some, get some sun. Of course, there's not a lot of sun right now, but just try to stay as normal as possible, and we can all get through this. All right. So for Zach Luceto, I'm Chris Sanchez. Paul Rodriguez, do your thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all enjoyed the podcast, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. And everybody on YouTube, hit the bell. We'll let you know when we upload. We gone.